Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the DropKick Podcast. He's a WWE producer slash WWE veteran.
You're a three-time WWE Tag Team Champion.
He's a former WWE Cruiserweight Champion. She's a broadcast personality, former member of the Nexus. He's a four-time Emmy-winning TV host.
Canadian Wrestling Hall of Famer. She's an ACW Women's Champion, and she is the daughter of the late, great British Bulldog. Winner of WWE's Cruiserweight Classic.
TJ Black from Ring of Honor, TJP, aka TJ Perkins, Georgia Smith, Darren Young, Arnold, Ariel Blake,
Chris Van Vliet,
Wrestling Classic, aka Justin Dillon.
Please welcome Tyson Kidd, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an episode of DropKick Podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us. You may have seen him on TikTok and around the Toronto area doing comedy shows and also acting. He's one of the funniest people I've seen personally. Please help me welcome Neema. How are you doing today?
What's up, guys? Chilling.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's an honor because I've seen your TikToks and stuff, and you blew up pretty big. But it's great that actually be talking to you and having this interview. So
yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm glad to be doing it.
I love the accents, man. That always cracks me up.
Yeah, those are always fun to do, man. Love doing it.
For sure, man. But what has this time in quarantine meant to you?
It's been a blessing in disguise, honestly. I tell everyone that because even though I do stand up, I was doing stand up before COVID happened and the lockdown. At least I have my content online to fall back on.
Yeah.
And so actually, it's been a blessing in terms of that, where I could actually practice and work more on my craft of video editing and actually producing the content, but also working on my health more than anything. That's been the number one thing for me, is working on my habits and just actually working on my physical and my mental health every day, and I felt better. So if anything, it's more of a benefit than not having this lockdown happen.
For sure, bro.
Yeah,
I think being in lockdown has made us reflect on a lot of things that we typically don't usually reflect on. Like, what are we so passionate about? Is something so worth it? By the way, I like your drip, bro. It's pretty fire. Just want to point that out.
You see that shit? Yeah.
It is. Yes.
Shout out Marcoto, my boys.
I'll link it below. We'll link it below, brother. But but like I was saying, this time has meant so much to me and Vikram because we this podcast, like it started a whole thing for us,
started during quarantine.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that because I think we all needed this in a way. We needed time away from the actual world and kind of disconnect a little bit. But in a way, people actually are more addicted to their phones. But I think disconnecting from, the social media aspect of it kind of helps people because you get to really think about what are some needs in life. What do you, aspire to be one day? Because you don't usually get that time to think because you're always, doing school.
Yourself.
Right. You're doing school, work, you're going to the gym, you're doing so many things. And I feel like having this, time in quarantine is a blessing in disguise, like you said. But
honestly, it's not only that, man. It's like I feel like it's gonna make the world way more grateful. Like, you know how badly during quarantine I was like, oh my god, it would be so fun to see a movie or go out to a restaurant and sit down to eat dinner. I feel like we were taking a lot of things for granted per se, and I feel like this is something that, in a blessing in disguise, it was very well needed for the world. But
sure.
A
lot of people they kind of brought, especially in this side of the world, we're very privileged to have everything we have, and no one really takes it in until this lockdown happened, and now they're like, oh shit, we literally have nothing, and people are really starting to realize now what they truly love to do, and the people they like to interact with, and more about themselves, and most importantly, which is good to see.
For sure, man, 100%. But basically, I just wanted to say, man. But I think with your content and everything, I think you inspired a lot of people like myself because I wanted to put out my content and stuff because like you said, mental health is a big aspect. It's a big subject, and I think now where people are they're looking at it more in a serious way. Like, not to say that it wasn't serious before; it was always serious, but they're looking at it from a different perspective now because it's like this whole COVID situation. It has impacted mental health and
Yeah,
other
I'm
people's
sure
mental
everybody
health.
struggled.
Yeah.
Like everybody struggled during this time, and I feel like it's just helping people basically
Mhm.
understand that for some people, COVID is like this where they struggle, and I think that was really great. But COVID is now. Let's jump to the past a little bit. What was your upbringing like, man?
Well, I grew up in a Middle Eastern household, a strict immigrant household. Like I'm sure you guys did too. So like we were all very similar in that sense, and it was good and bad. Obviously, when you're growing up and your parents are always in your privacy and in your all up in your shit, you kind of hate it first, and then but then you realize. Well, I realized when I grew up is that it was actually good that they kind of did that early on because I wouldn't be who I am today, and discipline and all that stuff, right? Compared to different types of parents, but everyone has their own style, and I personally had a good childhood and a good upbringing for the most part, and I'm the youngest sibling, so I had it easier than my older brother. Obviously, he paved the way for me, which is nice. But yeah, no, it was good for the most part. I like it.
That's good to hear, man. I think some sibling has to take that first step and get through a lot of shit first.
They gotta take the L, man. They gotta take the L.
They gotta take the L, bro.
100%.
Yeah.
Crazy. But what inspired you to pursue comedy and post what you post usually? What inspired you?
I've always been like the funny person in my family and just amongst my friends. I always just love to make people laugh and bring joy to people around me. And I never really knew I wanted to do comedy until later in life. But throughout my childhood and growing up in high school and all those things, I always just had that knack to just make a situation that's uncomfortable funny in any way, whether it's in class or making fun of my mom's accent at home or in front of parties, you know what I mean? Like, my dad and all their friends, you know what I mean? So I always just kind of enjoyed doing that. But also, like, being Persian people are pretty funny people in general. Yeah. They have a good sense of humor usually. And I'm lucky enough to be in a family where my mom's actually fucking hilarious too. And my dad's pretty funny too in his own way. And my brother too. But what inspired me the most was actually when I was a kid, I was watching stand-up on TV with my dad, and I saw Russell Peters.
Yeah.
First person I ever saw on TV like doing stand-up, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is crazy. Guy's on stage just like making fun of people's accents, and he's and people are laughing at him, like laughing with him on the stage. I was like, this is crazy. And so I never really took it in at first, but then later on in life, I started like seeing more and more stand-up and more of those things, and I generally would be drawn towards funnier videos or comedy movies and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed everything comedy. And then eventually I binge watched so much stand-up and comedy in general on YouTube around like the 2009 2010 era, and after that I started seeing so many people doing things that I was like to myself every day, I'd be like, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do. And then I finally went to university one day, and I realized, yo, man, I don't even want to do this. Like, academics is not my shit. Even though I can fit, it's just not something that's not gonna make me happy. And so I dropped out, literally just to pursue my passion, which is comedy and acting. After first year, and so
that's man, what a story right there. But
and comedy's amazing. It brings smiles to people's faces, and I'm sure it's a really fun career. But much like other careers, I'm sure there's probably some struggles you faced while pursuing a career in comedy. What were some of the struggles?
Man, so much. And people don't realize doing stand-up comedy is not the same as making your friends laugh.
Of course, bro. It's hard, yeah.
It's like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. And I've done a lot of things that were pretty difficult, but stand-up is by far the hardest thing because you go on stage and you're literally just standing there in front of strangers you've never seen before, and you're trying to laugh with something that's coming out of your mouth, which is insane if you think about it. And you think you can do it, and then once you go and do it the first, I don't know, 100 times or more, you're really not as easy as you think, and you're just bombing for weeks, trying to figure out how to be funny in front of strangers.
For sure, man.
And it really humbles you. And it was, man, I struggled so much in the first 2 years, just like busting my ass, like just commuting to do open mics where no one knew who I was, no one cared who I was, to sign up on a list of like 20, 30 comedians who are also amateurs and nobodies who wanted 5 minutes of dick jokes or whatever stupid jokes they have in front of two people in an attic somewhere randomly in Toronto, and those people aren't even listening. And then you get up at like 2 a.m. and no one's even there anymore. And then you just like, you waited for 3 hours to do 5 minutes of material to nobody. It really brings you down. But the whole point of that is to push you into really kind of like getting a thick skin and continue.
Of course, bro.
So, the struggle that you mentioned is actually a good thing if you want it to be, because I don't look at it as I'm like failing. I'm looking at it as I'm learning. And every time I struggle and I fail, I learn something new and I get better each time. And so that's the mentality you got to have with this, with the struggle in doing any entertainment, really. But yeah, in general, it's mostly just that. And also with the videos, man, like so many people get so shy and nervous to post something because they think it's not the best product. But I'm like, man, so many people don't realize when you post something online, realistically, no one cares. And I'm not saying this to make anyone feel bad, but even me, like I post every single day, and I have a lot of people liking it, but so many people will like just scroll by it because I don't care. So that people overthink it is just ruining it for them. And so you have to put shit out there to learn, to get better. That's the only way to do it. So yeah,
for sure. You got to take those risks, man, and which you did. But is there a story to the time where like what was your first like stand up like, for example?
It was I remember it vividly because I mentioned previously, I traveled an hour on the TTC from where I was living at the time just to go sign up at this place at like 4 p.m. and I was already like 10th on the list or something like that. And then there were about 30 comedians total on that whole lineup for the open mic. It was just an open mic. And random like Tuesday night. And in some random ass attic and some dive bar. Ghetto as shit. I go out and like I'm nervous. I'm there. Everyone's like in cliques. It's like high school all over again. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like
fuck that.
And yeah, literally. And it's all just comedians. Like comedians. Whether they're shit or good, doesn't matter. They're all comedians, and they're all in this small, tight space. And then 2 hours later, the show finally starts. I'm like tripping balls the whole time, getting in my, I better do good. I have to do good. So blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't know this because it was my first time there, but there's a thing called bumping. So what it means is you write your name on the list for the open mic, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go on that slot that you signed up for. Especially if you like me, I'm a first timer, they'll bump you like crazy, like which means they'll like put other people who are more experienced or they know better ahead of you. It's politics of the comedy world. And I realized that as the night was going on, I was like, okay, sick. The 9th person's up. All right, I guess I'm next. Then the next spot comes and he calls out someone else's name. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought it was my turn. And then I waited. I was like, he forgot it. Maybe next time. Goes to the next one. Oh, this person's up next. And then I was like, what the fuck? Started 12 people, and like he's put me up. And so I asked him, I was like, am I next? And he's like, oh no, sorry, buddy, you're I got 8 people ahead of you, and then I'll put you up. I was like, what the fuck? 8 people.
Weird, yeah.
Oh, all that already was like tripping me out. Man, like now it's putting more pressure on me, and like I'm like, am I even gonna get up? So finally, after like 3 hours of waiting, I end up getting up, and at this point I'm like sweating buckets. I'm fucking sweating in places I shouldn't be sweating. I'm nervous. I'm like wondering if my material's even gonna go well or not. And when I get up on stage, there's only 2 people left in the audience who are other comedians, which and they don't even care. And I go up and I was supposed to do 5 minutes, but I end up doing 2 minutes because I was like, this is so shit and hard. I didn't even know how to finish. So I was just like, oh, I just cut it short and I just got off stage. I was like verge of shit in my pants. So nerve wracking. But doing it and getting off, honestly, it was like one of the most exhilarating feelings. It was like a huge sigh of relief, almost like a weight off my shoulders. And at that moment, I realized, oh shit, okay, this is a long game, and I'm never gonna give up. I'm gonna do what it takes to get better and better every day, because this is what I love to do, and I want to work on this craft. And ever since, I've just been trying to go as hard as I can. And that was my.
I feel like a lot of our viewers can feel you when you talk about the politics, because a lot of the times we usually have guests from the professional wrestling business on here, and a lot of things that people don't know is backstage pro wrestling is all politics.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I feel like that's just something that in a lot of like performing businesses and things like that, that's just something that you're gonna have to deal with. And it's like sometimes it doesn't necessarily make sense, because like you said, they're putting the more well-known, more experienced comedians before you. If they want people to stick around and watch, wouldn't it make sense if they come after you?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
how things work.
That's just how it is, though. Unfortunately, like it's literally like high school. It's like, oh, my boy is here. Yo, let me put up for, who's this scrub? Like, let me push him back. I don't care. It's just unfortunate, but
you just gotta keep rolling with it.
You just gotta keep rolling. Then eventually, you have to build up your rep, and then you'll be that person who will like get head on the list, and then that literally.
Yeah, man. That's exactly, and look at where you are.
Circle life. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. But I feel like there's a big misconception growing up, because a lot of people don't know what they want to do as a career. You dropped out of uni, but on your podcast, you talked about that you didn't want to pursue university. What led you to dropping out, and what did your parents say? Like, how did that all go down? Because I know you grew up in a Middle Eastern home, like you mentioned, but
coming from immigrant kids here, we want to know how you did it, man.
Help us out, brother.
Yo, I'm lucky, bro. I'm lucky. I don't know about you guys. I got lucky, but when I was in first year of university, I already had a couple of like years before that where I didn't get into university after high school, and so I pretty much took a whole year off, and that was like really a bad time in my life where I was just depressed and like I was like gaining weight. I was just binge eating every day and gaming until like 8 a.m, sleeping until 4, 5 p.m. It was like a bad time in my life, and I was kind of a little bit turned off from the thought of going to school and just doing the regular safe route. I was kind of rebelling a little bit and having a different mindset. And a lot of people around me, my friends and my family even, they're like, yo, like, stop being so negative. Yo, like, why didn't you want to go to school? Why don't you want to do this? And I'm like, man, like, and they just don't realize that, I would just have a different mindset. I'm a creative person. I've always been a creative person. I always excelled in like sports and in like any arts, music. I'm a drummer, and like I can act, I can make people laugh, and to make me go to school and do something.
It's not your thing. Yeah.
That's maybe I don't know, make me survive for the rest of my life and potentially start a family with someone. I'm like, that's not enough, man. I can't live my life. And so I kind of just pulled through that whole year, and then I finally pulled up my grades. I went to private school, got into U of T because my dad went to U of T, and my brother did that exact same program I got into. So I was like, oh, I have to get in just for them, to make them feel good, which a lot of people, including you guys, I'm sure, thought that too, and are probably have done or are doing. And even my own friends, like I see them, they're like, yeah, like, no, I have to get a degree from my parents. I have to get a degree from my parents. So they said I have to. I'm like, bro, like, but do you like it? Do you enjoy it, right? And they can't answer that. They're like, I don't know. Hey, I will see. I'm like, no, you don't. You're just trying to make excuses.
You're trying to make excuses, right?
kept saying, no, yeah, like it's fun, yeah, I like it, but really you don't like it. You're just saying that because you don't want to look like weird and different from the other people who are the people going to the safe regular
norms,
route.
right?
Go to university, get a degree, get a job, start a family, right? So I don't know, something in me, like I don't know, I just maybe I don't know, I was born to be kind of courageous and brave and kind of think for myself in a way. And that 1 year I did go to U of T and study kinesiology, which I did have fun with. I just wasn't a passion of mine. I was really heavy into comedy that year, and I just like every time hey, I'd be like just like on YouTube watching comedy, studying it, even like reenacting funny lines. You know what I mean? Like it was like almost like I was already a comedian at the time. Then I went to my first stand-up show at the end of first year, and when my friends invited me, I was like, oh, like cool. There's like, I've never been to a stand-up show. We go to Yuck Yucks, and I remember vividly one of the guys who was on the show. He actually the show we went to was a Tuesday night at Yuck Yucks, and it was a Humber night comedy show. And I was night comedy show, what is that? So I asked one of the guys on the show after he got off stage. I was like, yo, what's this Humber night comedy show thing? And he told me there's a comedy program at Humber College where they offer 2 years of like literally teaching comedy courses like stand-up, improv, sketch, TV writing, film, improv, acting, all that stuff. And I was like, oh shit, no way. And he's like, yeah, we perform here every Tuesday. And I was like, this is sick. It was exhilarating watching other people make other people laugh. And I was like, I would laugh. So I go home that night, I search up this program, and I see the courses, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? And I fell in love immediately. Like, yo, I have to do this. I have to do this. And so I literally like contemplated for like a week on my own. And then what happened was my brother actually, he changed his path, and he told my parents that he wants to go into culinary and like do like other things. And then seeing them react to how he dropped out, I mean, like changed his path, and they're kind of okay with it as long as he like made ends meet. That made me realize, oh shit, maybe I can do what I want to do. And it's so for me, and I realized, okay, so then I'm just gonna drop out and start and just do comedy because this is what I want to do. And I told them, and at first my parents were disappointed, like a little worried. My dad was like I don't know, like if you're gonna do it, then you got to go 100%, and like you have to make something of it. I was like, fuck yeah, 100%. Like there's no way I'm backing down if I do this. And my mom was like crying and shit. I was like, relax. It's not that the end of the world.
Not
like,
that deep, bro.
You also have to understand where they come from. Is like, my parents are from Iran, and like they don't have comedy down there. Like they don't. It's like it's not.
Exist.
They grew up with it, not familiar with it, and so I understand where they're coming from. But also I have to explain my point of view of like, okay, well, this is what I want to do, and makes me really happy, and I know I can make it in this. I feel it. You know what I mean? I know I have potential. And they just wanted me to prove it to them and kind of show my potential. And so I did. And I had to audition to get into that Humber program. I dropped out after first week of second year at U of T. Auditioned the Humber program, and I got in within 3 days. And ever since then, I've been just fucking like going hard. And
the rest is history, man.
Rest is history, bro. Like I just like you get to a point, especially like I don't know. I feel like people who grow up with immigrant parents, they have this like chip on their shoulder of like
they do, bro.
And you want to like kind of prove them, like, not prove them wrong, like prove to them, like yo, like
prove to them that,
bro, I know I can do this. You know what I mean? So,
but I also got to add on that because I speak to Vikram about it like a bunch of times. So we have a bunch of conversations, like like is university all of that? Because like who wants a 9-to-5 job? Like, pretty sure no one does because no one wants to sit in an office and fucking type shit up.
Some people might actually enjoy that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course not.
We need people like that, but also there's a lot of people who are doing that who don't want to do that. And
of course, of course. And there's so much like creative, people like yourself and all of us here. And I feel like parents that grew up with that back home mentality, they don't really know that. Guys like Gary V, they try, Gary V,
no.
but it's just he tries to like tell parents like, hey, like this is the way, like this is the new wave of things. This is how it's kind of done in this new generation of things. Because our generation is so like it's the next big thing. Because you can literally start something with a phone. You know what I mean? Like you can post a clip on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, and you can go viral. You know what I mean? Like it's within a touch of a button, and I think that's what makes it so special. And for our generation to do that, like the power that it holds, dude, it's crazy. Like it blows my mind sometimes. Like,
Look,
you know what I mean? Like,
one thing I'll always say is like, for example, like my parents, for example, they'll say, oh, you need that backup plan, you need that safety net, because it's very slim chances you'll make it in what you want to do. For me, it's wrestling, and I said, for whether it's wrestling, entertainment, comedy, or anything, it's not that you have slim chances. It's how bad do you want it? How hard are you going to work for it? And if you're going to work as hard as you possibly can, you're going to make it. That's just my opinion. If you work as hard as you possibly can, you're going to make it. No matter
I agree. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the people who say in stand-up specifically, like, for example, only the 1% of people doing stand-up will make it. But I'm like, the people who are saying that are the ones who won't make it because they're doubting themselves. But I'm like, why can't I be the 1% of people?
Right. Yeah.
You literally change of mindset. It's literally all it is.
It's all in the mindset, man. Honestly, yeah.
You just have to go for it. And like, guaranteed, like, even if you bust your ass and you tried everything and it still hasn't worked out, then who cares? You fucking tried something at least.
You tried.
You want something else now. Like, it is what it is.
Exactly. Try
why
something
not?
else.
Why not?
If you continue to bust your ass, let's say, you busted your ass at your dream and it didn't work out, try really hard at something else. If you try really hard at everything you're going to do, you will succeed in life because something will come to you that you're good at.
It's bound to happen.
Exactly.
Like Gary says, man, like, you're right. Like, bro, even if you do this shit at 25, you waste 5 years. If you waste fucking 5 years, right?
Bro, yeah.
You're still gonna be fucking 30? Starting you fucking path, right? Like, he's literally, it's so true though. It's like even if you're like still 30, bro, that's literally, you're so young, and it's idiotic. Don't just do something for yourself. I don't know.
Exactly, man. You got to make these fucking times count, especially now. Like, everyone's at home. What are they doing? They're, probably sleeping, binge watching Netflix, and you have the option to start something. You can fucking start TikTok, like yourself, or you can fucking start a podcast. You can start anything, anything you're good at. Like, write down a fucking list, like, top 10 things that, like, I want to pursue and try achieving that, because I guarantee you, out of those 10 things, there will be one thing that you can achieve at least, or even more than one, man. You never know. You know what I mean?
For sure.
The possibilities are endless. For
100%.
sure.
100%.
Absolutely. So growing up, everyone has their heroes. For me, since I'm a wrestling fan, it's guys like John Cena, Edge, Shawn Michaels, people like that. For you, who is some people that you look up to?
First of all, I love John Cena. But for me, Russell Peters was my first inspiration. And, I still kind of like him, and I kind of enjoy his content, like the type of material he does. But my biggest inspiration right now is Kevin Hart. And I know a lot of people hate on him, and because, like, I don't know, he's not the funniest stand-up or whatever, but, like, he's number one for a reason. He's the most successful comedian in the world for a reason, because of his work ethic, his passion for his craft, and not even just putting in work on his comedy or in acting. It's working on his health as well. That's what inspired him too, right? Is because this guy's like busting his ass every day, waking up, going to the gym, like working on his health and his like family and like his mind, getting his mind right. And like, bro, all these things are something I want to do and get better and better at every day, and he's the one who's paving the way for that. So I definitely look up to him for that stuff the most.
Absolutely, man. But
Absolutely.
I think having a strong work ethic, goes a long way, man. Yeah. That, like, it's all in the mindset, like you said, man. I feel like once you have that mindset figured out, like, you get those negative thoughts and like get that negative energy out of you. I feel like, there's so much you can do. There's so much potential, but besides entertaining people, obviously, and making them laugh their ass off. But what do you like to do in your free time?
I love playing ball and, like, any sports really. Obviously, like, chilling with my friends, smoking some shisha.
Okay.
But I don't do it often, but I like doing it. But
course.
I don't know. I like watching movies too and just chilling. Like I just love being by myself and just watching a movie.
Vibing.
Very, like, once in a while. But man, honestly, I just like enjoy doing comedy so much. I don't mind making videos and like watching comedy videos on YouTube or anywhere and just continuously creating content and working on stand up and stuff like that. Like I love doing it all.
For sure, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So on our podcast, we really like to tap into mental health as a topic. So if you're comfortable sharing, of course, have you ever struggled with your mental health? And if so, what advice would you give to people listening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty anxious. Like I have a lot of anxiety. Like sometimes sometimes worse and sometimes not as bad. But I have trouble sometimes. I overthink a lot too, and I overanalyze a lot of situations, which is like kind of takes over my mind sometimes. And I have like kind of paranoia a little bit sometimes too. I get worried a lot about certain things, and it depends on your environment.
Yeah.
Good environment, that shit goes away. I swear to God, like it's like you just kind of forget about it, and not even just forget about it, but if you communicate with someone around you that you love and that supports you, it's so much easier to get over the mental health issues because it's not only just kind of like makes you forget about it for the short amount of time, but it actually helps you work on the root problem itself to actually get past it, right? So I suggest if you can, like, just talk to people. It goes a long way, and you'd be surprised at how many people would be, open to actually listening and hearing what you need to talk about, like any problems you have and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Your own friends, like because like a lot of guys, especially the stigma of like can't talk about our issues or like cry and shit. Like I fucking cry, I don't care. And I tell my boys all the time, or I tell my family, and like they see me cry, I'm like, but I feel better when I do it. So why wouldn't I do it? And then people wonder like why they're always mad or they're this and they're always miserable. I'm like, bro, just fucking let it out. let it out. Friend. Yeah. Talk to anybody and just talk. I'm telling you, you'll feel better instantly. And because a lot of people bottle stuff up and it just builds up over time, and then they just like crash and something massive happens, and you don't want that to happen. So I'd say just communication is the best thing, and also keeping busy, man, and like finding hobbies or trying new things. Don't just sit around all day eating junk food and watching Netflix. That's what happened to me that one year where I was literally binging food and playing games all day. I was in the most depressed time of my life, and even some parts like suicidal even. I was like, it was like I never got to that point where I actually would want to kill myself, but I know a lot of people do, and the problem was because I just didn't know what I wanted, and there's too much pressure around me of like telling me what to do, and I wasn't thinking for myself, and it's just like, and I was bottling stuff up. I wasn't telling anybody anything. I wasn't talking about anything or how I was feeling, and that's why I felt that way. But also, man, like you're the way you eat, man, food honestly goes a long way. You're changing your lifestyle of eating and like your relationship with food honestly will change your life. That happened for me over the past 6 months now, and I've never felt better. And people really underestimate the power of eating good, healthy food, and the quantity and quality of it all. So that's definitely some of the things I would suggest.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But man, if you what were you gonna say, Vic?
I'm just curious, man. So if you could change anything in terms of your career that you've done in the past or even in life, what would it be?
Honestly, I wouldn't really change anything. I would just kind of tell myself when I was younger I would tell myself to be more confident in every situation, and not worry about what other people think. That's the one thing I would definitely change. The fact, because I used to do that a lot when I was in high school and even younger. I would always be like worried to the core of oh, what if I wear this shirt? Is this person gonna like make fun of my tits and shit? You know what I mean? Like stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like so minuscule, and no one would even care. But it's all in your head.
It's all in your head. Yeah.
If you just live through every situation with confidence and not care what people think, it's so freeing. It's a freeing feeling, and it's like if you the best way I can put it is, and what helped me realize this is, if you think you're going through stuff, imagine what other people are going through as well, and then
that's true.
they don't give a shit about your problems. Like they're not even worried about what you look like or how your eyebrows look or how your arm looks or your nose or anything. Like no one really cares. And so
that's true.
That's what helped me kind of like not worry about people's judgments, and just kind of be myself. And it's much more freeing, and you live a happier life that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. It was great advice. But I got one final question. I like to ask this to everybody. What does the next chapter hold for you?
A lot of things, man. Okay, first of all, I'm trying to be a movie star, a TV star.
Oh yeah.
I'm
man.
I'm gonna tour the world doing stand up. I'm gonna just like that. I want to live my life like in a fun way, good way like that. Touring the world, making people laugh all over the world, and getting a Netflix special. That's my goal. And we actually pitched a show to Netflix, me and my friend, and hopefully it gets picked up. And then just honestly building as big a following as I can on my social medias, so I can get those fans to come out to the shows and just enjoy my content daily. Because ultimately my goal is just to brighten people's days up and to make myself happy more than anything. And that's all I want. I don't even care about being rich or famous. Those are great and it's bonus. And like I'm sure I will come across that and it will happen to me. But I'm more so excited for the opportunities I'm going to get that are just fun for me to do. And it's all the things I just mentioned. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Great. Thank you for coming on, by the way. And I didn't expect you, but I actually wanted you on on our show for a long time,
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I think I commented on one of your TikToks. I was like, I'd love to have you on your show. And you just liked it. I'm like, so is that a no? You know what I mean?
All right. Man. That's cool, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but where can we find you on social media? Like, just plug everything in, I guess.
Yeah, all over, man. At Neema Naz on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I do daily videos on social media and TikTok, weekly podcast, weekly vlog on YouTube, and just trying to do as much content as I can every day. So all over.
Pumping it out, man. Hell yeah.
Pumping it out. That's it, baby. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time, and yeah, man, take it easy.
Thank you, man. Shout out to Vikram and Danial, bro. Thank you guys. I hope everything goes well with your podcast, man. Keep killing it.
For sure, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Don't give up, bro. Don't give up.
Try not to.
All right, guys.